What you and other teachers believe influences and determines how and what you teach. Philosophy is a love of wisdom and a pursuit of knowledge. Today's schools reflect the philosophical foundations of our country's founders and diverse groups of settlers. Understanding philosophies of education will help you understand complex political forces that influence schools and more effectively evaluate proposals for change. Philosophies of education are based on your core values and beliefs. What you believe about yourself and others, particularly students, will determine your teaching style. When creating an educational philosophy, you must consider what education means and what it should accomplish. Your philosophy of education will guide all of your actions and decisions as a teacher. There are 6 areas of philosophy that teachers should consider: metaphysics, epistemology, axiology, ethics, aesthetics, and logic. Metaphysics asks questions of what is real, what is reality, and what is the world made of. Metaphysics has 2 branches: cosmology, which is the nature of the universe, and ontology, the nature of existing and being. In other words, man's place in the cosmos. Epistemology addresses questions about the sources of knowledge and learning. People come to acquire knowledge through a number of channels, including experience, authority, reason, intuition, and active construction. Empiricism is knowledge acquired through the senses. You will use questions of epistemology to determine how you will teach. Axiology asks what is right and impacts the quality of student life. Teachers must consider what curricular experiences contribute most to students' quality of life. Ethics focuses on right and wrong, and aesthetics addresses questions related to art and beauty. Remember that culture greatly influences aesthetics and sometimes even ethics. Schools are products of their time politically, socially, and economically. At different periods in our history, different philosophies have dominated our thinking about teaching and learning. There are 5 major schools of thought in education. Let's look at the chart on page 123. Perennialism stresses the belief that all knowledge has been accumulated over time and is represented by great works of literature and art, as well as religious texts. Like essentialism, it holds that one type of education is good for all students. It places great emphasis on classical works of art, literature, and philosophy, especially from the Greeks and Romans. Perennialism also focuses on teaching values and moral character. There is little room for flexibility or changing needs of our culture. Finally, perennialism emphasizes the Socratic method, which involves extensive student discussion. According to essentialism, certain kinds of knowledge are essential to a person's life. Everyone can and should learn these elements. When you hear about learning the 3 R's, you are listening to an essentialist view. Curriculum remains consistent, assumes a common culture for Americans, and that the teacher knows best. Students are supposed to listen to the teacher and learn what is taught. Unlike perennialism, essentialism would include vocational courses. Progressivism. The period of 1890 to 1920 was a great time of change in American society. Rapid industrialization and urbanization continued with accompanying economic, political, and social problems, such as poverty, poor housing, and unsafe working conditions. Progressivism emphasized student interests rather than subject matter. Progressivists believe that schools should emphasize problem solving, daily life, and skills needed. Students should be working cooperatively in groups, using discovery and inquiry-based learning, and be assessed through the use of portfolios and projects. Progressivism also emphasizes flexible scheduling. Existentialism takes student-centered learning to an extreme. According to this philosophy, the only authoritative truth lies within the individual. It rejects any truth outside of the person. Individuals must seek meaning of their own existence. Existentialism proposes that students make all decisions about choice of subjects and activities in school. It is important to note that this philosophy has not had a profound impact on U.S. schools. Social Reconstructionism emphasizes social justice and a curriculum promoting social reform. Responding to the vast inequities in society and recognizing the plight of the poor, social reconstructionists believe that schools must produce an agenda for social change. Education should tackle real-world problems of hunger, violence, poverty, and inequality. Students are at the center of this curriculum, with teachers advocating involvement in social reform. In addition to the 5 philosophical orientations, there are 3 psychological theories that serve as a basis for how teachers approach their teaching. Humanistic psychology emphasizes personal freedom, choice, awareness, and responsibility. The goal of humanism is self-actualization, and it developed during the European Renaissance and Protestant Reformation. Teachers should create a climate of trust and respect that allows students to decide what and how they learn. Behaviorism. Behaviorism believes that human behavior is a product of design. Behaviorists do not believe that humans have free will, but instead behavior is determined by forces in our environment. Teachers can obtain desired behaviors by providing appropriate reinforcers directly after the desired behavior. Constructivism focuses on the cognitive processes of learning. Constructivism focuses on student-centered learning as well. In addition, constructivists study the mental processes and strategies that students use. Teachers who use active learning and realize that student learning is influenced by prior knowledge, experience, attitudes, and social interactions are using a constructivist philosophy. As you reflect on your own philosophy, remember that no single philosophy may fit you perfectly. You may choose from multiple philosophies, so be eclectic.